Hey everybody, welcome back to Spidey V, and a big welcome to any new subscribers that are having a look at this video. Today we're doing another Noob-Toob video on the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, or the GBB. Before we get onto this video, let me just state this one is going to be different because I don't actually own the species of tarantula that I'm doing this Noob-Toob video on. But what is the use of friends if you can't make use of them? So thanks a lot to Andy from Andrew's Exotics and Shanti from Tarantulas with Shanti for helping me out with this and giving me a lot of photographs to use for this project. And as a little tribute to them, here are both of their channel intros. So if you haven't subscribed to either one of these channels, please do so. They are absolutely great. Have a look at both of those channels and see if you like them. If you do, I'm guaranteeing that you most likely will. So, but subscribe to them and watch their content. They are both wonderful channels. Two very, very different channels, but really great people, really great channels. Right, so now let's get on to the GBB and where it comes from. It comes from Venezuela, from an area called the Paraguay Peninsula. Now this is in the northern part of South America. It's quite close to the equator, not too far north. So obviously temperatures are pretty constant all year round and humidities are pretty constant all year round. Winter months are averaged out at 22 degrees Celsius with a 61% humidity level. Summers are slightly higher at 24 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a 70.3% humidity level on average. Now, with it being a desert area, obviously the tarantula can't be out in the sun because it's going to dehydrate. So what they do is they burrow under the roots of trees and shrubs or grasses, and they web up their little burrow, and that is their home. Obviously there's webbing outside because we all know that they are quite prolific webbers, and obviously that serves as a dual purpose. At night it obviously is a net to catch water because that's where they get their water source from. With it being a desert, there's not really a lot of rainfall, so it relies on the drop in temperature at night for condensation to occur because of the large amount of humidity in the air, and obviously the dew falls onto their web, and that's where they can come out and drink. The other function obviously is the food function. The web acts as a dinner bell. As soon as another invert runs over the web, the spider senses it and comes out and grabs it. So very, very ingenious way of living. Nice and cool in the day underground, and then obviously if an animal walks on your web, you know that something's there and you come out and grab it. And at night, that's where you get your water source from. If you're thirsty, you come out and have a drink from your own web. So very, very clever and ingenious way of surviving in a harsh environment. So what is the ideal setup for a GBB? A lot of people say that they are the best of all worlds because they can burrow and they like to stay above ground, and they'll make a nice web castle and almost stay arboreally above the ground in the web castle. So in my opinion, when I get mine, I'm going to give it quite a decent amount of substrate so it can burrow, and I'll put nice anchor points, quite a lot of them above ground at various heights as well in the enclosure, so that they've got a lot of different places where they can make their web castles. So ideally it'll be able to have a spot underground and a spot above ground where it can do what it likes. Generally what I do with my tarantulas as well is I try to give them, according to their leg span, double their leg span in the depth of the cage, and then obviously try to double that for the width, so they've got a nice amount of space if they want to move around and get some exercise. So ideally that's what I'm going to do. With regards to moisture, probably best to mist once every 2 weeks lightly, but always make sure that there is a water dish for the tarantula to drink from if it does become thirsty. Then comes the question, is it a great species for a beginner? And that's a yes or no question. Yes, because they are very docile, they don't bite, they don't flick hairs a lot. In general, obviously you may have the odd one that will be grumpy and grouchy, and obviously at different stages in their lives, depending on where they are in molt cycles and so on, they can become a little bit defensive, just like any other tarantula. But in general, they are quite a docile species, so in that respect, yes. However, if you are somebody that's new in the hobby and you are wanting to handle, then I wouldn't suggest this tarantula for you. The reason being is they are very, very skittish. I know of somebody that is a very, very experienced keeper who had one. He had his tarantulas in his basement. That's where he had everything set up, and he was either doing a rehouse or a enclosure cleanup, and his little GBB ran out. He searched the entire place, turned the whole place upside down, and he couldn't find it. But he did eventually, a year later, and he found it almost at adult size. So with regard to that, if you're going to handle, just be extremely careful, because they are very skittish and they are prone to bolt. So don't take it on if you're going to be handling a lot, in my opinion. But so you are very, very unlikely to be bitten unless you really do something silly. Growth rates, they said to be kind of midway in the range. They're not slow, they're not fast. They're classified as a medium grower. Also, they grow quite big. Quite a difference though between males and females. I was watching one of Alan Hickens, or the Spider-Man's videos the other day, and he says males get up to about 3.5 inches. Although some of the research that I did on the internet suggests that males can get up to about 4.5 inches. Females, however, are definitely a lot bigger. They grow up to generally about 6 inches. So they are quite significantly larger than the males. With regards to lifespan, females are quite long-lived, and males aren't don't have a bad lifespan either in comparison to some other tarantulas. Males, they say it's anywhere from 5 to 8 years, and 8 years is quite a long time for a male, from what I understand. A lot of tarantulas only kind of max out at around about the 5 to 6 year mark. The females, however, also quite a long lifespan, with anywhere between 17 to 22 years. So that's quite a decent lifespan as well, which is, I suppose, why most people in the hobby tend to want to get females, because of the longer lifespan. You know, once your male matures and he reaches his last molt, they generally don't have too much time left, which is quite a sad thing as well, because us in the hobby, we do get very attached to our tarantulas, and you know, when they pass on, it is a very, very sad time for us. So yeah, we try to avoid that by looking for females, or trying to make sure we get females so we can prolong that. But yeah, really beautiful tarantula. You'll see with all the photographs that I've been putting up. And thanks again to Andy and Shanti for providing these photographs for me for this video. It's been really amazing. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe, share it if you like, and yeah, send it out to somebody that you think might be interested. Tarantulas are an extremely rewarding hobby, very, very easy to take care of animals, and yeah, it's surprising how much enjoyment you actually get out of it. So yeah, that's it from me. Cheerio, see you guys again soon.